A Christmas reading written by Gloria Gaither. Come and see what's happening in the barn. Come and see what's happening in the barn. I've seen nothing like this since I've been on this farm. Those strangers camping out there have a baby in their arms. Come and see what's happening in the barn. Must have been sometime close to midnight. A big old guy came knocking at my door, said his wife was about to have a baby, and she just couldn't travel anymore. I said the rooms had all been rented out, but they'd find shelter out there in the barn. They could throw some blankets in the stable. At least they would be dry and safe from harm. Sometime before dawn, I was awakened. Light was flooding through the window pane. A star as bright as moonlight was a-shining, and pretty music I could not explain. I ran downstairs to have a look around. I tell you, I could not believe my eyes. A crowd had gathered all around the manger, and they were talking about God's big surprise. The shepherds said that they'd been on the hillside telling a story just to stay awake. The baby lambs were sleeping near the campfire. The ewes were huddled by the stone fence gate. And then the sky just seemed to open wide with light and sound that they could hardly bear. And what they swore were angels sang in chorus, "You'll find the new Messiah there." Go and see what's happening in the barn. There's been nothing like that ever happened on this farm. The strangers camping out there have a baby in their arms. Go and see what's happening in the barn. The author wrote that all too often we turn the characters in this real-life story into celebrities. There was only one deity there that night. The rest were ordinary people experiencing an extraordinary happening. They did the best they could. The rest is history and prophecy. Gloria Gaither wrote that the Christmas story this way to remind people that Christians believe that Christ came for everyone, ordinary people. Well, around Christmas, we like to enjoy Christmas carols. Today, we are playing many pieces based on famous Christmas carols and singing them. A Christmas carol is also called a Noel. It's a song or hymn whose words are on the theme of Christmas. Carol is a medieval word of French origin meaning circle dance with singing. Carols are used to express religious joy and are especially associated with Christmas. Traditional carols have a strong tune and consist of a verse or a chorus for group singing. They are often based on medieval chord patterns. This gives them their special musical sound. Later in the program, you will hear God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. This is perhaps the favorite of Old English carols. It has an old tune familiar to many. It was often sung outside, a favorite of strolling bands of minstrels and groups of children going from door to door in the streets of Old England. A favorite of carolers, it expresses joy and hope of Christmas. Later in the program, you will also hear the famous Christmas carol of all, Silent Night. Long ago, Joseph Moore was in need of the perfect hymn for his Christmas Eve service. And to make matters worse, the church organ was not working. Some historians say he wrote the poem Silent Night, and Gruber, the church organist, together with Moore, composed Silent Night and sang it accompanied by a guitar on Christmas Eve, 1818. The congregation was stirred as people down through the ages have been. Silent Night has become the most recorded carol of all time. It has been translated into every language. Think back to the wonderful joys of Christmas as you hear carols today.